Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your Platinum Reena Day.
Wow. I kind of can't believe that I am standing here right now. This time last year, I was sitting in Jessica Moultrie's living room watching leadership for the first time and not really completely knowing what I was stepping into, but knowing that I had an amazing person to lead me. And if you were here in this morning's session and you got to hear Jessica speak, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She is truly an amazing person and leader. And if you weren't here in that session, you should go watch her speech. It is authentically her. And that is exactly how she lives her life. So I'm truly honored to be a part of that. But here I am. This is my wonderful family. My husband of almost 20 years and the most supportive person in my life. Our 3 kids, and my mom is actually also in this picture. My super support team. And as I kind of talk about how I'm getting people to classes, my family is such a huge part of that. So I kind of wanted just to introduce you guys a little bit to my family. As it's been about a year since I've been selling doTERRA, and when they asked me to speak on this, at first I was like, well, what am I going to talk about, or how do I put that into words? And talking with Jessica some, she was like, you love people, and I'm a super relational person, and I absolutely show up for people in a relational way. So in-person classes is all I've ever done. And even through living in Oregon in the middle of the pandemic, in person is all we have done. So I'm going to kind of give you some tips and ways that I was able to make in-person classes work, even when a lot of people weren't in person. So the 4 things that I have really boiled down to what I did is, first of all, love on people. Share, invite, unite. So love, share, invite, unite are the 4 areas that I really focused on building an in-person business. So the first one is love. So true connections are key. Some people, you guys might not have been out for the last few years, and everything's starting to open up again, so it's a little bit different. But when I was in this stage, I was like, how am I going to connect with people? And so even through all this time, everybody was out doing something. So I just took doTERRA and layered it into my life. So I would be at the kids' sporting practices, or I would go to the gym, or the kids' school, or my husband's work. Whatever I went out of the house for, I showed up in those moments. I was intentional building relationships with people in those times. So instead of just sitting at practice or at a game or whatever I was at, I would specifically sit next to somebody and have a conversation with them. And what's really important right now is everybody has missed connections. Everybody has missed time together, and people just want to feel loved. And that's what this first step and why it makes it so important is because you show up for people, you're authentic, and you're true into what you're saying to them and asking about them, they will respond to you. So be authentic, ask questions, get to know people in the space you already are. You're already there at that event. Whatever brought you there, you're there. And love on people, be genuine with people. The next thing is share. Give people experiences. I always have my bag that has my personal oils in it, but it also has samples if I want to give them out. But last year when I listened to leadership, somebody spoke and they said, your home is your doTERRA showcase. And I was like, okay, I can run with that. And I turned my home into a doTERRA showcase. But then when you leave the house, you are their showcase. You are doTERRA showcase. And so I always have oils on me, and I'm always using them. I'm proud of working for doTERRA. I don't shy away from telling people as I'm connecting with them that I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate. And I'm also not afraid to use them. And then this is kind of where my story started. So it was my daughter Lainey's basketball team. And we were traveling because we had to travel out of Oregon to play any sports. And for practices, we had to sanitize all the basketballs. And we were using Clorox wipes, which, I mean, don't get me started on Clorox wipes. I feel like I could do a whole talk on those. But I was like, can we please try something else? And so they let me make up On Guard concentrate bottles, and I gave one to each team, to each parent, and sprayed the balls down. So I gave people an experience without giving them something or saying, hey, try this. And that's where it started. And then we had the love and the relationship, and we were talking, and, oh, what do you do? And I sell essential oils, and, oh, okay, that's cool, and just started the conversation naturally. And my daughter would come up to me and say, hey, Mom, my stomach hurts. I need Digestin. I'm super anxious for this game. Can I get Adaptive? And so I would give it to her. Then her friends started coming up and saying, hey, Reena, my knee hurts. I need some Deep Blue. And it just slowly started this thing where she really helped develop that, like, hey, let me have this. Hey, let me have that. Then the girls. Then the parents started asking, what are you giving my daughter? And it just started this natural conversation. And then at this point, they've had an experience. Either they've been given an experience or their child has been given an experience. And so at that point, you're kind of ready to give them an invitation. And it should be customized. You have these people that are now warm market people that weren't. So a lot of people are like, I've gone through my warm market. Now what? Turn more people into your warm market. Show up for people authentically. And make the invitation personal to them. So, for example, my daughter's, one of her good friends that she had just developed a relationship with because we were brand new on the team, I said, hey, Jen, well, I'll give you 2 examples of inviting someone to a class. Hey, Jen, I have an oil class on Sunday. Do you want to come? Or, as I've just spent time loving on them and sharing with them, I can say, hey, Jen, I'm doing an oil class on Sunday, and I know you've been struggling with sleep and Ava with anxiety. I'm going to talk about both of those things. Can you guys make it? And I've just offered them almost too good of an invitation to say no to. And so that's a key thing. Make the invitation so good they almost can't say no. And I'm going to play that out. Let's say they say no. The first question I ask is, are you interested? If they say no, that's okay. Not everybody is interested and ready in that moment, and that's okay. With you living out your life with doTERRA, eventually I would say they come around. If they say, yes, yeah, I'm interested, I just can't make it, I go to just 2 options. Another class time, and then I offer, how about we do it during the girls' practice? How about we get together for coffee after the gym? How about if you're at the dog park, we just talk about it while the dogs are playing? Wherever you both are, wherever you guys have showed up to be together, make it so easy for them. And so really customizing the invitation and making it so hard for them to say no that it's most likely going to be a yes. And so with that, with my daughter's basketball team, we did a class. We invited the team. We also did a little something for the girls. So you could customize that, not in a sports team. You could do it with a book club. I mean, it doesn't have to be a sports team. That just happens to be my life. But we did a 101 class, so all the girls and parents understood what essential oils were and how to use them. And then we did build a keychain. And so all of the girls got to build a keychain and put essential oils in it. They clipped it on their basketball bag. And what started to happen is they started sharing. And so there's 5 teams in our organization. And pretty soon the other teams were asking like, hey, Lainey, what's that on your bag? Hey, Ava, can I get some of that? And at this point now, it's been a whole year. We have done 4 out of the 5 team classes with their parents and their kids and helped build an oil community, and not just in the one team, in the one atmosphere that I'm in, it expanded to the whole. And that's kind of the power of living out a doTERRA lifestyle. You're living it out. Your kids are living it out. Your community that was small, and the small team of 8 turned into an organization of 60. So the next thing is unite. So now you've got them. They came to the class. You've really connected with them. You've loved on them. You shared with them. They've came to a class. The next thing is unite. This is where your community begins. And this is just as important. So many people have spoke today about wellness consults. The class, I put a high priority on a wellness consult. It is so important because in there you get to dive into how they want to learn, what's important to them, what do they need in their life, swap where they shop. Such a wonderful thing. And so this is also where do you want continuing education classes? Do you want text messages? Do you want emails? How do you want to be communicated with so that you don't get these oils and then just shove them in a drawer? Because that's the last thing that we want. And so, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Ask them how they want to be communicated with, and really meet them at their place and show them the wonderful community that you have built, because that's what's going to keep lifelong customers. Okay, so to recap our takeaways, this isn't a checklist of if I do this, people are going to show up to class. This should be a way of life. If this is doTERRA's heart, is loving on people, it's healing our world. So if we're showing up in the very first step of loving on people, everything else comes so naturally. Everything else, you're living a doTERRA lifestyle, and if you're truly loving on people, it becomes authentic, it becomes natural, and people want what you have. So, recap, love. Put yourself in places that you're going to interact with people. Build those relationships. Be authentic. Share. Always have samples. Always have product with you. You are your doTERRA showcase as soon as you leave the house. And give experiences. I mean, I don't know how many times boys or girls sports teams or at the gym someone gets hurt and I'm like, hey, I've got some Deep Blue. And then it's a whole conversation about that. Like, be quick to give an experience. Invite. Customize your invitation to each person. I find that people, especially right now, people don't feel heard. And if you say to them, hey, I heard you say you're not sleeping. Like, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I have something I think that can help you. It's so valuable to people. And then unite. Connect them to your community. Let them feel the support that you have around you. Get them excited about their oils. And then always don't forget to ask for them to host classes, to build a business. That's not really my topic, so I'm not going to dive into that. But of course, that's a huge piece of your whole business. But if you've done the other things, then they're showing up, they're excited, they're going to love their oils, and pretty soon it's going to be super natural for them to be hosting or building with you. So at the end, the last thing I hope if you kind of take away for anything is that when you meet new people, they will be meeting doTERRA as well. Live a doTERRA lifestyle, and doTERRA at its heart is loving people. Thank you so much.